Marvel's Phase 4 has been a roller coaster ride, and we've seen things revealed that were hidden in the first 3 phases. For instance, why some heroes were nowhere to be found at certain moments. The new Black Panther movie has answered another one of those questions, and brought up a host of new ones. What are they? In this video, we explore these new developments. Stay tuned and explore them with us. Let's start with context, the Endgame saga, and the missing hero. In many ways, Avengers Endgame marked the end of an era, in a way that none of the previous conclusions to earlier phases did. It was a culmination of events and immortalization of past heroes that had graced the screen for over a decade. In it, we saw unclear relationships defined, broken friendships rebuilt, and new alliances forged. Wakanda, the seclusionist state, was the major battleground for the Infinity War, and formed the bulk of the army that faced up to the Mad Titan, Thanos, in the Endgame. To the dilettante, the cast seemed complete. Every conceivable hero that had ever appeared and was alive made an appearance. Even new ones like Pepper Potts' rescue made an appearance. To the die-hard fan, though, Wakandan inclusion in the war was missing one very important character in the movie. This character is Nakia, King T'Challa's love interest from the first Black Panther movie. It would be clear that it was a big injustice that the potential Queen of Wakanda was absent from the war taking place in her home. We see this remedied in the new Black Panther movie. How was this injustice addressed in the new Black Panther movie? Think about it. Nakia's exclusion from the Endgame robbed her of the chance to appear beside the other powerful women in that one iconic, or weird, scene during the battle with Thanos' army at the Avengers Tower. In the new Black Panther movie Wakanda Forever, her inexplicable absence in that battle was finally explained. This is coming 3 years later from the release of Endgame, but nevertheless, it is a welcome development, a way of telling us, the fans, that we were right in thinking that Nakia's absence had to be unavoidable. The explanation also brings with it a new development. Marvel has finally decided to grace us with the introduction of a new character to the Wakandan family. Nakia is played by Lupita Nyong'o in both installments of the Black Panther franchise. She outshone in her performance in the first Black Panther, and immediately became a fan favorite as the potential queen of Wakanda. We sort of expected her to make an appearance in either Infinity War or Endgame because of this, but the writers had other plans for her. The new Black Panther reestablishes her role in Wakandan lore in a way the previous movies didn't. At the beginning of the first movie, we see her fighting terrorists who kidnapped young girls in Nigeria, and we get the impression that she is a bit of a free bird. At the beginning of Wakanda Forever, we find out that she had used the last 6 years to work on a diplomatic outreach in Haiti, explaining her absence from Wakanda. This is satisfactory enough, but in the post-credits scene, we see the real reason why she left Wakanda. She and T'Challa had a son together, and make no mistake, this isn't one of those situations where the couple separated due to the awkwardness of having a child together. They had their son shortly after the events of the first Black Panther movie, and decided that it would be best if the kid is raised outside Wakanda. You might think this decision makes no sense, but you have to remember that Wakanda was a secluded state that only recently opened its borders. For the new king to rule it effectively, he must have outside world experience. We would hopefully see more of Prince Toussaint in the subsequent movies. There's a role to play and a mantle to be inherited. How do we square Nakia's role in Wakanda Forever over an Endgame appearance? When we think of a Nakia cameo in Endgame, we envision her walking alongside T'Challa when he first emerges from the portal with the rest of the Avengers army. After this, she probably would have been given a few moments to shine in the battle, taking down enemies and maneuvering the gauntlet to prevent Thanos from getting it. Then she would have been in that one scene, you know, the one where the female cast breaks away from the fight to clear a path for the gauntlet to be moved. When we think about it, Nakia's absence doesn't seem so bad. It would have been a tragedy indeed if she only graced the screen for that short a period. Ryan Coogler made sure that Nakia's admirers and fans got their money's worth, going to see her in the theaters. She was one of the most compelling characters on the screen, and Lupita absolutely killed the role. It is a sad thing indeed that Chadwick Boseman passed away. The whole world felt the impact of the occurrence, but Nakia's absence from those movies allowed the writers to open up a new plot to the Wakandan story, with both Chadwick and T'Challa's legacy being a big part of it. It's hard to imagine an outlet the writers and directors would have taken if Nakia had been around for both Infinity War and Endgame. This was like the perfect excuse that the writers could have ever come up with to introduce a new hero, while still giving a lot of thought to the man who breathed life into the first on-screen adaptation of Marvel's Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman. Wakanda Forever was many things, but one thing that almost everyone agrees on is that it was a good story and a fitting tribute to Chadwick Boseman. And as is fitting for every good story, new intrigues and questions were left for the audience. Would you be willing to explore a few of these questions with us? What questions were we left with after the Wakanda Forever release? We all knew from the movie's trailer that the main villain of the show was going to be the iconic Marvel character, Namor, with a few minor changes to his character's backstory and lore. Wakanda, one of the most technologically advanced countries on the planet, was thrust into conflict with Talokan, an underwater civilization designed on the model of an Aztec paradise. Shuri, acting as the ruler of Wakanda, was a central character in the conflict, and the movie ended with both her and Namor coming to a truce. In line with these, there are various subplots that were explored, including T'Challa's death, Okoye's demotion, Riri Williams' creation of the vibranium detector, and many more. A good job was done in the closing of many plot lines at the end of the movie, but then there are still a few questions that need answering. What did T'Challa die from? We were briefly given a glimpse into the death of T'Challa, and we saw Shuri doing her best to find a cure to the mysterious disease that was killing him. She, of course, didn't find it in time. The actual actor Chadwick Boseman died of colon cancer in 2020 and battled this disease in secret, making it a shock when he eventually died. The fact that both scenarios were similar shows the thought that went into making sure that T'Challa's death mirrored Chadwick's. It's a very thoughtful thing to do, but it opens the floor for some questions if we want to be fussy about it. What kind of disease was it that killed T'Challa? Considering the fact that Wakanda is so advanced, it must have been so powerful that even the head scientist couldn't find a cure for it in time. We can only speculate, but this seems like a plot point that would be further explored in subsequent movies. Who now rules Wakanda? It's known that Wakanda isn't exactly a democracy. It's an oligarchy of sorts, the rule being concentrated amongst the elite of various tribes. Though Ramonda rules Wakanda at first, her death opens the ground for Shuri to take the throne. But then, the line of succession isn't so simple in Wakanda. It can be challenged, and M'Baku has consistently done so since the first Black Panther movie. When Shuri takes on the role of Black Panther, it seems that she actually was headed in that direction. She doesn't show up for the coronation though, but M'Baku shows up to challenge, and it still isn't confirmed if he actually becomes the king. This opens up another plotline that could be explored in later movies. Would Prince Toussaint take on the Black Panther role? It's a little too early to push such a heavy responsibility on T'Challa's son, but it's a question that is in the minds of many. With the fact that the line of succession already is so convoluted, it is possible that Nakia's boy would only end up as a Wakandan politician without any claim to the throne. But it's a story, and a story must entertain. Prince Toussaint may have to earn his right to the Black Panther mantle and the throne. We could see a story developing where it is shown that both the Black Panther role and the Wakandan throne are things you earn, and not things you inherit. It'll definitely add more value to both roles, and seeing Prince Toussaint conquer such challenges would add new meaning to the lore. We have a lot more questions besides this, but we'd like to hear yours in the comment section. Feel free to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos on movies like this. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.